It is Andy here with you on a Thursday, and here with you to remind you something that if you've been watching this channel for a day, a week, a year, you already know. But if you're brand new to the channel, I'm happy to have you. If you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, toss a couple clicks, as I like to say. Bring that good sports betting karma upon you. You like, I sniff, and then we are on our merry way. But if you've been watching this channel and you are new, something that I tell everybody, you've heard of the term any given Sunday, because in the NFL, any team can beat any other team regardless of record. You see this time after time, week after week, eliminator pool after eliminator pool. You see the Green Bay Packers go into Cleveland, lose to the Cleveland Browns. You see the Carolina Panthers take out the #1 seed LA Rams. Happens all the time, but it can only happen on Sundays and then those random primetime games. In the NHL, any given Sunday, just remove the sun. It's any given day, every night in the NHL. Last time I checked in with you, the Edmonton Oilers lost to the Buffalo Sabres, and before you get angry, remember, we hit everything we gave out on that bet. Yes, we hit the over 2.5 goals. Yes, we hit the McDavid over 1.5 points, and we got the Bouchard assists with those McDavid over 1.5 points. But what did I do? I avoided the money line. I avoided as what I like to call donkey lines, because donkey line, aka money line betting, is the surest way. You'll never be a long-term winner, yet it is the thing that you guys want the most. You want to chase the end of that rainbow. And I guess I'm here to help you do that, because not only on that slate did we see the Oilers, who were just ripping off these high-scoring wins, lose to the Buffalo Sabres, who were playing awful, but we also saw a 2-loss team in Colorado. And remember, what are we at the 30-game mark? A team with 2 regulation losses lost to the Nashville Predators, a team who a couple of weeks ago, I mean, you're talking about a fire sale. They're getting rid of everybody, one of the worst teams in the league, because that's what can happen in the NHL. And those same very Colorado Avalanche are on this very slate against a team in the Florida Panthers, who, when they are healthy, when they care, still the best team in hockey. Way better than the Colorado Avalanche. This 2-loss Avalanche team is so inferior to the actual playoff Florida Panthers. Why? Because of style. Styles make fights and sniffs make bets. But really, in all honesty, if this was a playoff series where they let more stuff go, the Avalanche would never be able to match up, especially with Tkachuk and if they get Barkov back in there. But regardless, what I'm trying to say to you, to see a -200 next to a team playing the Panthers is just preposterous to me, because the Panthers mail in every single game, essentially. And I want to say straight until the playoffs. Game 1 of the playoffs, as you saw last year, is when they go, okay, let's go, here we go. But I think there are select games throughout the course of a season where, I always say it's hard to get it up for that 5 in Nashville on a Wednesday, but I think it is a little easier to get it up for that 9 in Colorado, if you know what I'm saying. Because we got a game between the Colorado Avalanche and the Florida Panthers taking place in Colorado. Now, I'm not going to say that the Panthers are going to go in there and win this game. They still are short Tkachuk. They still are short Alex Barkov. But I still think they have a good amount of players, championship level players. A team that at least knows how to make it to the conference finals, something that McKinnon's only done once in his career. No bigger fan. That's a lot of playoff losses. This is a game, I think, even though they played last night, you gotta think Florida's gonna get it up for this one. And what I think is, because obviously, Colorado has 2 regulation losses all season. This game's going on their own home. I think they lost 1 game in October to maybe Boston early in the season. So I'm not willing to go that far, but I am willing to go over 2.5 goals for the Florida Panthers against the Colorado Avalanche, because I trust the Panthers. I trust that rat. And they started to win a couple games in a row. Colorado was just on a road trip. This is their first game back after a road trip. It's hard to imagine Colorado ever being too slow but if there was a game, maybe it is that first home game. I'm going with the Florida Panthers over 2.5 goals against the Colorado Avalanche. How do you like that? Start you off with kind of a pizzeria play, a pizzeria adjacent play with a little team total. But now let's waltz into the prop world. Let's see some good values on this slate. And that's going to take us to New Jersey, where you have the Devils. Finally, we're able to muster a win without scored 4 goals against the Sens. No points from any of their key contributors. And those guys needed to come through. I mean, they were like shut out in 2 of their last 3 games, losing a ton of games. They got no production from Bratt, Heischer, Meyer, Mercer, and yet they still scored 4 and 1 on the road. But then you got the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got Braden Point back. And what we're seeing is Kucherov playing with Hagel and Cirelli. We're seeing Guentzel and Point together on line 2 and power play 1, obviously. And I told you that there are certain combos you automatically take when they are pretty good prices. Kempe and Kopitar, that's one of them when it's a good price. Last night, plus 150 came through. Game before that, when we talked about how they were put back together. So they've come through 2 in a row, plus 150. You're going to see that start to come down. That's how it works. Point Guentzel. It was Point's second game back, I believe. They got shut out in his first game back, got goalied a little bit. Then 2-point performance from Braden Point. Guentzel found the score sheet as well. I'm always going to go with that combo. Braden Point for a point and Jake Guentzel for a point. That's pulling a plus 130. That's a great bet. The funny thing is the third line mate that's with them is also on the top power play. And typically, that's the prop that I would give you. But I don't know. There are certain instances I will give you that full line. You can take this full line at plus 300, but I really like Point and Guentzel. But a prop that's really, you can go one or the other, both, the whole line. But you have Oliver Bjorkstrand, who's on the top power play. It's not like he's like tucked on power play too. He's playing with Point and Guentzel and on the top power play with Point, Guentzel, Kucherov, Radish. Haven't seen Radish's point. I think it's probably going to be, you're not going to get too good of a value because they know Hedman kind of re-injured himself and he's not going to be available. But Oliver Bjorkstrand plus 145 playing with Point and Guentzel. I mean, that's kind of trickle-down snakeonomics 101. Like last night, Joel Armia, we learned during the day, he's on the top power play. Oh my God, so now that's a new combo, him and Fiala, that's a plus 200. That's what you're looking for. I understand. He is not as remotely good as those other 2 players, but he's going to be on the ice with them, so if I'm taking them for a point, there's a chance he's going to get on that score sheet as well, just like he did last game, by the way. He played with Point and Guentzel last game, and what do you know? The full line came through for a point north of plus 300. If you're asking what I'm most confident about, Point and Guentzel. If you're asking me, if you're just trusting the values, it's Point, Guentzel, and Bjorkstrand. So that's what I like there in that game against the New Jersey Devils. And then you got the Islanders facing the Ducks. The Islanders are real hilarious. I mean, they're beating the Lightning twice in Colorado and Vegas. And they were on the road. They beat some of those great. They beat Dallas. I mean, they're beating. And then what happens? You know, they'll lose to random nobodies with games that they don't get it up for. This one's kind of in the middle. They're taking on the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, who do have a good record, but don't have kind of the name brand recognition as the Golden Knights and the Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche in terms of recent success. But one thing that is for certain, I'm seeing a value that I've brought up to you, and it's in the moonwalking process. Every good prop you get, every prop you sniff, the price gets worse. I mean, there's a reason I'm bringing it to your attention, and there's a reason it's good. And this is Maxim Shabanov, who I brought up to you guys last week, and he came through last week. Now, it's tough to come through every single game, but when you're looking at the elements that create a good sniff, we got a team on their own home ice. They're facing a Ducks team who can concede. I mean, they gave up 3 in a win last game. So, you know, even in a loss, the Islanders will get their fair share of opportunities, probably not be shut out. It's not like they have, you know, I think Dostal's not back yet from that injury. So you're talking about a Ducks team who, yes, they win, but yes, they concede. And then you're playing with Bo Horvat, one of the best goal scorers in the entire league this year. He's the type of guy, when he's hot, he becomes red hot. Scored 2 goals in the last game, including the game winner. And when you're glued to the hip of a player like that, at 5-on-5 and on the power play, and you have a decent amount of skill, and that point's coming in at plus 120. I mean, normally, you're never going to get a fight from me. If I tell you a player is on a top power play, and he's not even like net front or bumper, this guy's on the perimeter of the power play. He took over Drouin's spot, I mean, to the right of Schaefer, and you saw that in the last game. You saw Schaefer, Shabanov, Barzal to Horvat scores. You nail your Shabanov assist with the 2 Horvat points. That's the parlay that we gave out last time. And you know what? I was just going to give you the assist and a point. Let's bang out that big one right there. Same thing. We got it last week. Let's try to get it again, because the price is moonwalking. And once it goes past a certain point, then it might not be worth it. So let's take that Shabanov assist with Bo Horvat to continue his streaky ways for 2 points against the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. And then I'm looking up there in Winnipeg, and I see a team who doesn't have Connor Hellebuyck, is losing quite a bit, doesn't have any sort of secondary offensive scoring, lost Nikolai Ehlers. In an effort to try to kickstart something, sent Velarde down to the third line, tried Alex Iafallo back on the top line. That didn't result on everything. You had 2 goals from the Jets, both with Connor and Scheifele. Somehow Iafallo factors in on neither of them. It's a lot of heavy lifting those 2 guys have to do. What I'm trying to say is, I know you guys like going to the pizzeria and talking about money line. Why? I don't know. I think you guys like it just for bragging rights in a group text, because it's certainly not about making any sort of consistent money. But when I look at these odds and I see a potential for a game that can be won, not only that, one that's in the plus money, I see a Boston Bruins team that welcomed David Pastrnak back. And in a move that during pregame you go, oh man, he must not be feeling that great for them to be sticking him down on the third line. Well, what do you know? Him with Fraser, I think they scored 3 goals in that game. He squeezed 3 goals out of that third line. So now all of a sudden you're telling me you're going to go with Lindholm and Geekie on that first line. They were producing. Then you have that second line that has done more than its fair share of scoring with Zacha, Arvidsson, Middlestat. And now if you're telling me you may have some production coming from that third line, 2 or 3 goals in the last game, Pastrnak had 3 points in his first game back. And without Connor Hellebuyck, I'm not scared of that black hole anymore. I mean, you can score up there. Dallas scored 4 in the last game. Edmonton scored, 6 on him the game before that? So, this ain't your President's Trophy winning Winnipeg Jets. I'm always going to be a little worried. I know that the Boston Bruins, in the long run, they're still the Bruins, in my opinion, that everyone thought they were going to be preseason. You will bear the fruits of that sniff as the years go on, as you typically do with multiple Scam 5 teams. But the Boston Bruins right now, with Swayman playing the way he is, because that's another big factor. Let's try it. Let's go with the Boston Bruins money line against the severely struggling Winnipeg Jets. And that, my friends, is what I have for you on a Thursday. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed here if you enjoyed this video. You enjoy any of my videos. You want to see more video. I mean, that's actually a pretty basic concept. If you like a video, oh yes, I subscribe so I can see more of the thing that I just like. It will also be greatly appreciated along with any clicks you want to give. You want to like the video? That's some good bonus karma points right there. You want to comment? That's great. It helps the algorithm, but not as much as hyping it. Yeah, I know you only get 3, 4, 5 hypes a week. If you hype this video or any of my videos, it's sincerely appreciated. Almost. I mean, there's tiers of appreciation, straight up Scientology here. Almost as appreciative as I will be if you join the Patreon and support everything I'm doing here. Yeah, I'm asking you to support the show. But the way I like to word it is you can become a minority owner. So when you're on a date with someone, they say you don't own a house, you don't own a car, you own nothing. You say, not true. I own 1/2200th of Andy's NHL Sniffs. What do you think about that now, you wench? Anyway, I hope to see you over there. There will be some trickle-down benefits. There will be additional sniffs. Like, that's where I put out my sniffs yesterday. That's where I will update anything that needs to be updated. Remember 2 days ago or whatever, I talked about, oh yeah, Casey Mittelstadt, he's on the top power play. It's a great value. Not a great value when you learn that afternoon that Pasternak's coming back, because then that kicks down Mittelstadt and blah, 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 blah. So that's where I update people with anything that needs to be known throughout the course of the day. That's also where you can get line combos and interact with all the other sniffers on there. There's people out there giving a ton of sniffs. People get hot, some are not. The only way you'll know is by joining. So I really do hope to see you over there. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for the next round of NHL Sniffs. And I already uploaded a Dave and a Dan. Check that out. We talk about some of the best Week 15 sniffs and a guaranteed Vince McMahon style Philly Rivers oriented bet if he plays. So go check that out, and then I'll see you tomorrow.